Hi students, welcome back. We are in chapter 2, Acid, Bases and Salts. This is your lecture 8. In this lecture, we are going to see more about salts. See the name, more about salts. So in this video, we are going to learn something more about salt. So what is that something more? In the previous sections, we have seen the formation of salts. So how salts are formed? Acid plus base gives rise to salt. So acid and base mix together to get salt. In this video, we are going to talk about preparation of salts and properties and uses of that particular salt. In your 10th class, we are going to learn about 5 to 6 different types of salts, and we are going to see preparation, properties and uses of each and every salt. Regarding this topic, I have made 2 videos. This is your part 1 and next video will be part 2. So in these 2 parts, I have covered maximum topics related to salts and preparation, properties and uses of salts. And if you see all previous year question papers, you can see maximum questions they have asked from these concepts only. And this is one of the important topics in your chapter 2. From this, we can expect more number of questions. And what are the concepts are present in this video? Equations, chemical formulas and names. You must read it and remember it. It will be so useful for your examination. Okay, first let us try to understand how salt is produced. We know when acid reacts with base, salt is generated, salt is produced. But we have 2 types of acids and 2 types of bases. Strong acid, weak acid, strong base, weak base. So we have 4 probabilities of getting salts. First, you see, when strong acid is reacting with weak base, we get acidic salt. Why? Here, strong acid in the sense there will be more H plus ion concentration, and weak base less OH minus ion concentration, isn't it? Here the dominating part is H plus ion. So we have more number of H plus ions, least number of OH minus ions, such that we will get acidic salt. Moving to next one, it is basic salt. When weak acid reacting with strong base, weak acid in the sense less number of H plus ions and high amount of OH minus ions. Here the dominating part is OH minus ion part. So here we are taking strong base such that we will get basic salt. What happens when strong acid and strong base mix together? Here there is no dominating part. Here we have equal amount, equal concentrations of H plus ions and OH minus ions. Hence we get neutral salt. Last, when weak acid is reacting with the weak base, here also we get neutral salt. So by this we have 3 types of salts: acidic salt, basic salt, neutral salt. And what about its pH value? We know pH value of salt is 7. What about acidic salt? What about basic salt? You see, when strong acid reacting with the strong base, we get neutral salt, that is pH value 7. Strong acid plus weak base. Strong acid, weak base, it is acidic salt. Its pH value will be obviously less than 7. And strong base plus weak acid, we get basic salt. Its pH value is greater than 7. We have learned pH scale. If it is from 0 to 6, it is acidic. From 8 to 14, it is base. Like that, pH values varies from salt to salt. Next, we need to talk about one particular salt. Here, seawater contains many salts dissolved in it. Different types of salts we have. Sodium chloride is most important salt, one of the major salts we get from seawater, and that sodium chloride is separated from these salts. We have different types of salts. From this, sodium chloride is separated. The large crystals are often brown due to impurities, and that brown colored salt is known as rock salt. They may ask you a question, what is meant by rock salt? Rock salt is a large crystals of salt which are brown due to presence of impurities and sand particles, that is known as rock salt. Now, common salts. We know what is meant by common salt. It is sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is also known as common salt because we are using this salt every day for cooking, right? It is a common purpose, common salt. What is chemical formula of sodium chloride? It is NaCl. Na is sodium, Cl is chlorine, combines together to form sodium chloride. They will ask you a question, how the sodium chloride is formed. So there will be a question like, how can you prepare, how can you manufacture sodium chloride, or how can we make sodium chloride in laboratory? For that, answer is HCl plus NaOH gives rise to NaCl plus H2O. HCl stands for hydrochloric acid. NaOH stands for sodium hydroxide. When acid and base combining together, that forms a salt, that is NaCl. Now, we need to see chemicals from common salt. So, common salt is a basic salt from which we get different types of salts. That's what we need to learn in this chapter, and you may get maximum number of questions from this topics. So there are few salts like sodium hydroxide, bleaching powder, baking soda, washing soda, and plaster of Paris. All these salts are prepared, manufactured by using a base salt called sodium chloride, right? Now we need to see chemical formulas of these. Sodium hydroxide. How to pronounce sodium hydroxide, bleaching powder, baking soda, washing soda, plaster of Paris? Let us see. NaOH. Na stands for sodium, OH is hydroxide. So how to pronounce? NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. CaOCl2. It is calcium oxychloride or calcium hypochloride. In few videos, few lectures, few materials, you can get like calcium oxychloride. In few materials, you can get like calcium hypochloride. Both are correct. CaOCl2. Baking soda. It is NaHCO3, nothing but sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. Washing soda, Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. So you see, we got a new term, new formula there, Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. What is the 10H2O represents? That regarding 10H2O we are going to learn in our next video. Plaster of Paris, CaSO4 dot 1/2 half H2O. Now, in this video, we are going to see two salts, that is sodium hydroxide and bleaching powder. First let us see sodium hydroxide. Chemical formula of sodium hydroxide is NaOH, and how that sodium hydroxide is formed. When electricity is passed through an aqueous solution of NaCl. Here you can find brine. What is meant by brine? Brine is a solution contains water and salt. So mixture of water and salt is known as brine solution. If you pass electricity through the brine solution, it decomposes to form NaOH, sodium hydroxide, that is also known as chlor-alkali process. Why it is known as chlor-alkali process, we will see. You see the chemical equation, NaCl plus H2O gives rise to NaOH plus Cl2 plus H2. So equations which I have mentioned in red color, those equations are important. They will ask you in your examination. So if they ask you how sodium hydroxide is manufactured, represent by using an equation, you have to write this equation. You see reactant side, there is a brine solution. NaCl plus H2O is a brine solution, forms sodium hydroxide. Along with sodium hydroxide base, we got two gases, chlorine gas and hydrogen gas. Let us see uses of all of these. And during that electrolysis process, at anode in the sense positive terminal, we get chlorine gas. Cathode, negative terminal, we get hydrogen gas, and near the cathode itself we get NaOH solution. Let us see the diagram which is there in your textbook. First, you can observe on top we have salt. When electricity is passed through salt, automatically at cathode we get H2, and anode, positive terminal, we get chlorine. So why? Because you know, whenever you see hydrogen, in your mind you have to get it like H plus, and chlorine it is Cl minus. Minus, I mean negative, always will be attracted to positive. So Cl2 minus attracts toward anode. While coming to hydrogen, it is plus. Just you can consider that attracts to cathode, negative terminal, and NaOH is formed. And we have uses of these. Hydrogen, where we can use that hydrogen, fuels and margarine. Chlorine, in water treatment, manufacturing of PVCs, CFCs, etc. Then HCl, we can use hydrochloric acid to clean steels, and sometimes it is used in medicines. Sodium hydroxide, it is base which is used in degreasing metals. So you know what is meant by greasing, grease. Application of grease is known as greasing, and removal of grease known as degreasing, and it is used to manufacture soaps and paper making. And chlorine plus sodium hydroxide, which is known as bleach, which is used in household bleaches, at the same time bleaching of fabrics. This is about sodium hydroxide. Moving to next salt, bleaching powder, that is CaOCl2, calcium oxychloride or calcium hypochloride. It is produced by the action of chlorine on dry slaked lime. If you remember, I told you NaCl, sodium chloride, is a salt which is used as base salt, not basic salt. It is a base to manufacture different salts. So while manufacturing NaOH, if you remember, we got two gases, hydrogen gas and chlorine gas. That chlorine we are using here to manufacture bleaching powder. So CaOH taken twice, that is slaked lime, calcium hydroxide, if it is reacting with chlorine, that forms calcium oxychloride CaOCl2 plus H2O. There are few questions like number 1, on treatment of chlorine gas with one metal hydroxide, bleaching powder is formed. What is that metal hydroxide? Or second question, something like, when calcium hydroxide is reacting with a gas, it forms bleaching powder. What is that gas? Or you can get question like, how bleaching powder is manufactured? Explain the process by using an equation. So whatever it may be the question, you need to write this answer. So calcium hydroxide CaOH taken twice, that is slaked lime. When it is reacting with the chlorine gas, it forms bleaching powder and water is released. So in the starting of this video, I told you we are going to see salt, manufacturing of salt, properties of salt and uses of that salt, right? Now, what is the use of this bleaching powder? Bleaching cotton and linen in textile industries. In textile industries, we can use this bleaching powder to bleach that cotton and linen. Bleaching wood pulp in paper factories. In paper factories also, this bleaching powder is used to bleach all that wood pulp. Oxidizing agent in chemical industries. Oxidizing agent, in chapter 1 we have learned. What is oxidizing? What is meant by oxidation? Addition of oxygen. So if you want to add oxygen to some other element, this bleaching powder is used, and this bleaching powder is known as oxidizing agent, means which is responsible for oxidation. So chemical which is used, chemical which is responsible for oxidation, known as oxidizing agent. Next, disinfecting drinking water. So if you go to some pilgrim places, you can find water. When you drink that water, you will get some chlorine smell. That is mixture of bleaching powder in that water. That is nothing but disinfecting drinking water. So students, this is first part of more about salts. In next part, we are going to see 3 salts: washing soda, baking soda and plaster of Paris, and we are going to see a last topic, that is crystallization and recrystallization. Simply to say, water of crystallization, that we are going to see. And next video will be last video regarding this chapter. After that, I am going to do 2 more videos. First video will be related to in-text questions and second video will be related to exercise questions, where you can get all answers to that questions. So all answers for in-text, at the same time exercise questions. If possible, let us see previous year board questions from this chapter. So students, if you like this video, share this video to your friends such that they too will learn and they will gain some knowledge regarding concepts. Thank you.